Hello and welcome to Dublin Airport. And today I'm not going to be doing a flight. Today is just a quick video to hopefully help other people out with an issue I've had. And an issue I've managed to resolve thanks to actually deciding to read the damn manual, which is funny enough. So recently I've been doing live streaming, and one of the planes I love to fly are the X-Craft Embraers 195 and 175. The issues I've had with them is to do with their MCDU and loading and setting up flight plans. Now, before I never really noticed an issue until I started to realize, hold on, if I'm taking off from Dublin, instead of following the SID out, it was just go as soon as it was taken off, it was darting off to the first waypoint it can. And then for landing, it was kind of doing the same thing. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. Found out what I was doing wrong and trying to fix the issue. I still couldn't get it to work. And now, after watching a video and realizing, okay, he's doing it a different way, he's doing it this way, I couldn't find one that was trying to set it up the way I feel comfortable with, or not. I feel comfortable with that. I was sure how to do, because most of them were like, set up your SID, set up your start, put in your waypoints. This is how you use this button and that button. And I was like, well, I like to just do it like if I was in a Zebo, or even in a sense, an Airbus. But I figured it out, thankfully, and I've got it into a way that works for me. And hopefully, if anyone is kind of struggling as well, they can use this video to help them. Now, I don't know if X-Craft's other planes, which are, I think, like the E114, something like that, I don't know if they have the MCDU that these two planes have, or even if the SSG E170, I think they do the 195 as well. I don't know if they're the same in terms of their MCDU. But this works for the X-Craft Embraer 175, 195, and it works for me. Just as you can see on the screen, by the way, the little cross, I don't have my flight stick and all set up. I don't see the point of it at the moment because I'm not flying, I'm just kind of setting up something. So don't mind that too much. The aircraft that we're talking about, I'm on top of the Dublin Tower. Oh god. It's this. It's the 175. And we'll jump into the cockpit and I'll show you how I set up the flight plan now. So we jump in. Now I'm gonna just flick the buttons as if I was turning it on normally, because it's just built into me. And I'm worried if I don't do it, maybe something might not work properly. So don't mind me. Just gonna throw these on as I always do. Alright, they're on. I like to put them on. I don't know why. So this is the MCDU. You've got your initialize, a previous page, next page, clear. I'm not sure what this one does. Execute, plus or minus. Airport, VOR, NDA. This is for if you're putting in waypoints with this keyboard. Now, the one thing I love about this is up here you'll see I've got this would change depending on which one you have. Now the winglets are only for the 175, whereas the E195 operations will just say enable, disable the tab key. What that does is if I hit tab, you'll see this kind of lights up like so, and I can type, which is handy. Obviously you can see it change depending on what you hit tab, or you can click on it. I always was like, well, that's a bit just awkward. But recently I've actually come to realize it's quite damn handy. I'll leave it on for now anyway. Obviously the radios I don't need to worry too much on. If you ever need to get back to them, you can just click the radio. Obviously if you put in whatever frequency, so communication, nav, and then obviously clicking that will change them. Clicking that will change them. Same over here. Radio 2 has the ADFs. Now, unfortunately, I'm very crappy with knowing how half the stuff works or how to do anything. I don't know what this does. I stay away from certain things. I take off, I fly, I land. It's why I don't do VATSIM really, especially now that they've updated the rules. I do want to learn, and I will slowly learn it. But for now, I'm only used to radio to get the the ATIS information. So like what's the barometer? That's all I use it for. So I can set the altitude right. Sorry, I'll just read. Oh god, no. That's one issue I have. Right, reset that. Press tab. So if we go into this menu, so you've got your status, your progress. So this would be where your flight plans and stuff are. As you can see, not unloaded. Departure arrival is how you type your departures and arrival. Then you've got your SID and star edits. You can add waypoints. When you have your route loaded in, it'll appear there. In a way, the route will be everything other than the SID and the star, and I'll show you how I do that now in a minute. And then you've got performance. So you've got performance 1, 2, and 3. And I always come over here when I start this because it changes. Another reason why I change it is with the X-Craft you get this. So it's fun. You can always see, and if you want, you can mess around with fuel and cargo and stuff like this. But the cool thing I like is that would be in, I think if I change it, yeah, so you can see it switches to pounds and kilograms, and obviously by putting in stuff it will change. So we go back here. What we'll do is, so load, by the way, is where you'd load your flight plan. Now as you can see, I've got this. Alright, I've only got one, so I can make it easier for myself. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to come over to departure. I'm going to go EIDW. Just for reference, my flight plan is from Dublin to Palma de Mallorca. I have it up on. I close him to okay. Did I close him to okay? I might have closed him to okay. Oh, I'm an idiot. 1 second. I click the wrong buttons at times. Restore the flight. It's grand. Connect to X-plane. There's a reason why I want Sim Toolkit on, and I'll show you now in a sec. And we'll just make you like that. Right, so yeah, we're going from Dublin to Palma. So I've got Dublin set in there. The nice thing is, it pops up and it'll say if you're going to some like I think Atlanta is called like Jackson. It'd say Atlanta Jackson International Airport. It's cool. So we'll come runway. We're going out by our flight plan on runway 10, or the SID we're going out on is Drex 4E. There's no transition, so I don't need to worry. I'll then come over to arrival. Lipa, Palma de Mallorca, perfect. We'll come in runway. It says 24 left. We'll select our star, which is Lore 1P. I'm terrible with stuff, so don't worry if I'm messing with the names. Our approach transition, right, so there's a good few of them. A mad way I've found out how to do this is if I click on you. So you'll see our sim toolkit. As you can see, we've got Dublin, we've got all this here, all the way down here is POS. So I'll get rid of you. I'll come down here and click you. So that's that stored, and then for the approach we'll click this, and then I'll come over to load. Obviously if you had more you'd use this to find them. I'm just going to click that, route stored. And then before I press anything else, I'm going to hit initialize. So if I come over then to my SID edit, I've got Dublin, DW553, 552, and then Drexen. Again, if I'm butchering the names, I apologize. If I show off Sim Toolkit, this is the way I've learned it recently, so I apologize. But you'll see it does have the W553, 552, and Drexen. So I'm quite happy. If I come down to here, you're gonna see Luki, Flores, Posbad, Pos, and all that. Again, I'm butchering the names, so please, you can shout at me, but just know I'm terrible with this. If you look here though, Laws, Posba, pause again, and you'll go, well, what's this about? I assume this is because of the approach into Palma anyway. Because on the map, if you look at the map, it does. I have to show it again. Apologise for going back and forward between things. But if you look on the map, you can see here this waypoint will be pause, and then there's nothing there. But I assume that's because that is the ILS path. So for the plane to take. So these points would be here on the. You'd see them on the computer, or yeah, on the plan screen on the plane. But there is one little issue I've discovered with this. If I set it all up, I would have two LoRa's, I'd have two POS and then other stuff. Because if I come over here to route edit, you'll see I've got a Dublin, I've got Drexen, and then here I've got this and delete it. Now the way I've managed to figure out how to fly this plane is just to go and delete, and then with Dublin to delete, and then depending on how it is, so you see this is 152. If I come over to the SID, this one is 23, but then I know the next waypoint was something like 18. Obviously you can change one or delete one. I'm just going to get rid of this one. And then for arrival, sorry, I'm just going to double check something. So I got rid of Palma. This one is 24.8. If I come over to SID edit, this one is 27. So they're both quite good, so you could use either one. I'm just going to get rid of this one. And then I'm going to hit initialize. That's now the FMS that is done. So again, if I go back up here, still no flight plan. And the reason for that is because I haven't executed it yet, and I'm not going to, because now you come over to performance. So again, I'm going to set this up as if it was me actually setting up the MCDU. So my payload is 8,700 and oh god, 8,764. The block fuel is 6,160. I'm just gonna make that 6,200. So that's 3,100 in each wing. Obviously, if I was doing my flaps, I normally always go on flap 2. I would change my trim. This is your thrust rating. This actually I've noticed in real life. I believe it's to help the engine for wear and tear. What I've noticed from here is if you're on like cruise at 71 or 73.5%, and you're trying to get to like say a speed of 270, whatever that is in Mach, I have noticed it can affect it. You might not get that speed. Now I don't know if it was just me flying badly or something, but I don't want to blame myself. If we come over to performance 2, we'll put in our altitude, so that's 33,000. Unlike other aircraft, you've actually got to do 33,000, so we'll put that in here. Like I said, speed I'm going to go 270. Again, I'm not flying, so I'm not too worried. For our wind direction and temperature, so it is 172 at 17, and it is -40. And you can see I've got the distance of how long how long it's going to take, how much fuel I'm going to use, and I really like that. And then on performance tree, I don't know really what this does yet. I'm still kind of learning it. Whether you're going to use icing or not, depending if you're coming into a cold place. But then you've got your flaps and the speed. You can go with the flaps. So flaps full, I can do 128 for landing, which is quite cool. So if I had them all the way down, I know that that's the speed I would want to be. Which is cool because I'm never 100% sure with my flaps. I'm just going to tab and then reset that. I don't need it again, so what I'm now going to do is come over here and then I'm going to hit execute. So flight plan execute is done. So if I jump up here, come over to flight plan, I've got Dublin, DW 553, 552, Drexen, and as you can see, it kind of comes up nicely. It goes from 4,000, 9,000, 15. If you remember, Drexen was... Sorry. Oh god. Nearly hiccuped and coughed. I don't know how the hell that happened. Drexen was 23,000 below, would be for below. But I prefer how this one looks, where it's 15.2 and then into 18.5 and then 22. So again, I guess it depends on yourself. And again, you can go into any of them and edit them. So you speed, altitude. Obviously, it'll say what waypoint you change. If I want to change anything, If I want to change anything, I'd have to click update waypoint. Obviously, nothing's changed. You can't change the one that is colored because you're obviously going to be there. The only way you can change anything when you're coming up to this waypoint is by messing with the computer. But it works quite nicely for me. As you can see, again, everything looks grand. Coming down 33,000, 24.8 thousand, or fly level 248. Obviously the speeds are a bit mad, but again, you can adjust that by coming up here and messing with the stuff yourself. If there's an issue, and say Dublin at the moment I have coming out on 10 right, I believe if I was to have to change that, you'd have to come here, obviously pick what you want. Maybe I'll do it so 16, doesn't really matter, and then you can't just execute it, you've got to initialize it again. And what's going to happen now is, I believe that should still be the same, but the SID is different, as you can see. Obviously it's different compared to what I had. And obviously the route then is going to be a bit different, but coming over here, going back here, because this is on Drexen, I'd have, obviously you'd be looking at Sim Toolkit and seeing how it changes. You'd even edit the flight plan and update it and stuff like that. But then when you're putting it back in, you've got to obviously work it out. And then when you hit execute, now it's going to be messed up. I'm not too worried. Obviously it's then got Dublin, it's got the change, and as you can see, like that would have been the waypoint that we'd be going to, but obviously, as I said, we were going to Drexen. That's how the flight plan is loaded, so Drexen downward. So that's how you do that. You can't just hit execute or you can't just update the arrival or departure, hit execute and hope it happens, because it won't. I believe this would change depending, obviously going out on 10 right. Obviously if you're changing the SID or how you're leaving, that will change small maybe bit, but obviously going from 28 left, you're going instead of going out over the sea towards England with no time at all, you have to go over Ireland and then fly back around, and a whole hullabaloo and all that. But that's how that works. Um, Obviously, these buttons are for if you're putting in your waypoint yourself. I believe you can change the type. So airport, fixed, latitude, longitude. You can do that, and obviously put in what you want. And then you save it and stuff like that. I hate typing in my own thing. I like to just put it in. I like to just be able to do it. And like I said, I had such issues because I would take the plan, set up the performance, execute it, not think anything of it, and then I couldn't. Like the arrivals, you don't have to worry about. The arrival, you can come in and change it and execute it. Actually, when I remember, so I take back what I said. You can change that and execute it at any time. You might have to. Obviously, you can come into your flight plan and change it. So you can go find wherever it is and delete it or update it or something if it's changed. But for departure, you actually have to initialize it again. So I apologize for making that mistake. You can always change your arrival with execute. You can't change your departure with execute. You've got to initialize it and then execute it. But again, always double check your SID star and route edits before you execute it, so that everything lines up. So yeah, that's how the MCDU works for me. That's how I set up and how I'll set up going forward. And I'm doing this video kind of just because I think sometimes the best way to learn for myself is I need to do it 4, 5, 6 times. Like this is probably the 10th time I've done this today. I've learned it today. I sat there and would constantly do it, and I jumped then over to the 195 and do it in the 195 to make sure it worked in the 195, because I'm that type of am I sure it's really going to work in one and not in the other? No, I better check both of them, even though they're both made by the same company and they were released at the same time. And it's how I am. But I was jumping back and forward, and it's just how I get a hang. And to have a video then where I could go, oh crap, I actually do not remember. I can at least go back and look at myself and go, oh yeah, this is how I set it up, because obviously it's me talking. So if it helps anyone else out and people are able to get the hang of that a lot easier, or there's many different ways of doing it. This is how I set it up. And there was a guy who, when I was looking at YouTube trying to figure out how to set up, he did the departure, the arrival, but then he was just adding the waypoints himself. Like you can do that. I'll just say it now. The manual does say I can just put in departure, arrival, initialize it, do the performance, execute it. You can do that. And obviously, coming out of Dublin, it would take me to whatever the end point of the SID is, and then just dart me straight to the start of the SID. And I don't think that's how it works in real life. I think that's why you have a flight plan, so you're flying over certain areas. As well as that, the manual does say I could just hit load, select that, come here, execute it, and it will just take off. I could just take off and land. There's no issue. Now, I don't know if it fills in the performance. I don't think I've ever seen it. The manual says it does, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's saying you can do that. Me, I kind of like the way I do it. The 3 steps of departure, arrival, then load, then initialize, then performance, and obviously checking to make sure everything lines up. But yeah, that is how I do it. As I said, not everyone will probably do it that way. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a nice angle of the plane. So yeah, I hope it helps anyone. Everyone's different. Maybe you'll find your own way of doing it. Maybe you prefer someone else's way of doing it. Maybe this way helps you. And if it helps you, I'm happy it helps you. If I'm making a mistake or if I'm doing something wrong, let me know. I'm not an expert. I've been flying for... Actually, this is my second year starting X-Plane. Which is mad. Yeah, I've only been flying for a couple of years. I don't know how to do a lot of stuff. I'm still learning how to do ILS landings in this aircraft, and this aircraft's quite easy to do an ILS landing. But I need to constantly double check every time I'm landing. It's really weird. I'm not the best for landings, especially recently. But yeah, that is where I'm gonna end it today. Again, if it helps anyone, I'm happy it does. If anyone can take any hints from this and set it up their own way, perfect. If anyone has any comments on better ways to do it, and maybe someone will come in and look at the video and go, well, let's see what the comment says, and whoever says, you know, it's better to do it like this, perfect. I have no worries. This is the way that works for me. Everyone has their own way, but we work together so we can get this gorgeous aircraft and her sister aircraft of the 195. Again, I don't know if the X-craft Embraer's 140 and whatever they are, you know, if they can get into the air, if they use the same MCDU, I'm not sure, but let's work to get them into the air using this method or someone's method, whatever. Go for it. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for everything. And thanks for listening to me ramble like a madman. Till next time, take care. Bye.